Well, this is my Royal Enfield GT Continental 535, newly purchased. I'm just about to leave Stourport on 7, place of my birth, and at 16 and 17 years of age I used to ride up and down what we used to call the switchbacks, from one cafe called Bridge Cafe to the Flamingo Cafe in Bewdley, or more importantly the other way round, because I was living in Bewdley at the time. This is a machine that's been rebuilt to replicate the 250, and it's probably got about the same sort of performance that the 250 had in its day. But it's a nice looking machine and it serves a purpose. It's not fast, it keeps within the speed limits, a little bit extra when you need it, but let's say not a great deal. Now we're going to go round first of all to the Bridge Cafe, but the Bridge Cafe it's still there, but no longer operational. I see that it's there when I came over the bridge. I had quite a sharp frost this morning, so the roads are a little bit greasy, and probably quite a few dead leaves that I remember along the switchbacks. I'm going to attempt to turn in by the cafe here, but it looks a little bit, I won't say derelict, but a little bit unused, and certainly no longer a cafe since the early 70s. It was in 68, 69 I used to do this trip, along with many others, and if I do get round to posting it on YouTube, I'm looking forward to comments from my fellow bikers of the day. Couldn't really be called rockers in those days. It was mainly on my 250cc Continental GT and my Bantam before that, later progressing to a 700 Royal Enfield Constellation, of which I now own a 750 version. So this is a cafe entrance. Used to be alongside something that was called Midland Marine. Well, looks like it's all changed since the days, but that was a cafe there, the white building. Now dental repairs, I see. Oh, that's fitting, isn't it, for us older guys? Probably go there and get my dentures fixed, if ever I had any. Okay, we're now leaving the cafe to go on the switchbacks run. I've got the use of indicators on this machine. So we're coming up to the first part of the switchbacks, turning right. This is a very narrow section and not the part where we used to really give it some beans. As you'll see, it's fairly narrow, fairly twisty. But can you imagine 30, 40 bikes coming down here? And watching the side road on the left now. A little bit more cautious to what I used to be, I'm afraid. I used to be absolutely flat out along here. And lots of wet leaves. Mud on the road as well, and tyre marks on other vehicles. Quite an interesting little route. We used to do it absolutely flat out as much as the way as possible, and you can understand why I lost two of my mates, and why two of them were further two were paralysed down the left hand side. That was back in the 60s. Wasn't very good motorcycling days, no matter what people tell you. Nostalgia isn't what it used to be. Okay, this is the switchbacks proper. So we'll see what develops. A lot of mud in the middle of the road, and don't really think I can remember the exact route. Well, I know the route, but I can't remember how we used to take the bends. We'll see. It's been 40 years, 44, 43 years ago. And we always used to hate to see a car up ahead. We didn't really want to overtake. Now here we go over the hump. Not much of a hump at this speed. And coming up behind the car. There's another hump in the road coming up, just on the brow hill. I remember you used to have to go right across the road here, right across the road to get the angle in, so we could rise off the ground and go straight across the junction. No chance of an overtake, so I'm going to drop right back. Well, we have bumpy road surface coming up. A lot more signage to what we used to have in those days. I may be able to overtake him on the stretch where we used to get to 100 mile an hour on the 700 of mine. I used to hang on to that throttle till I got the 700 up to 100 mile an hour. That was indicated on the speedo, I might add. It was probably only about 85, 90 mile an hour, but we believed it. That's a nice section of road being spoiled by someone in a little Fiat Punto. Never mind. We'll have another go in a minute. Coming up to what used to be the Woodman pub, but I believe it's no longer there. We'll see it from the other direction later. Now this is where we used to wind it up. We've got cyclists. We've got to be a little bit careful. There may be another group further on, but it straightens out here. And we could possibly go for an overtake. No one behind and a car coming. More pedestrians or cyclists up ahead. Maybe I would go for it. Check. And out we go. And they've got a dog with them, so we'll be a little bit careful. And braking firmly for the bend. I'm not sure how tight this bend is now. It's got marker boards now compared to what it used to have. Making good use of the road. We have an overpass. That was never there before. Absolutely flat out up the hill. And the 30 limit. Well, did we really take much notice of that? No, not a lot at all. We'd still be bunched up, probably in groups of 5 or 6 as we hammered it down the hill. Somewhere in the region of 60 to 70 mile an hour or so. And a lot more cars parked. And a tight bend at the bottom. Very narrow. Nice of him to pull out on me, wasn't it? I just made it a little bit obvious that he did that. Now we're into the little town of Bewdley. This is where I spent my early years. And it's a turning right around the church in the centre. Quite a nice little town. Always thought of perhaps retiring back here, but I think I like Torquay too much nowadays. And there's rather a lot of congestion here. Thank you. Now I'm not sure whether the cafe in Bewdley is still a cafe. It certainly won't be called the Flamingo anymore. But we used to park the bikes up along the riverside, and if it was raining we'd park them up underneath the archways, which I'll try and show you as we get there. A little bit more congested to what it used to be, and totally different shop arrangements. And a pelican crossing. Well, we're going to go left down the side of the bridge here, and the Angel Pub is still there, and Merchant Fish and Chips. That used to be a fish and chip shop in the old days, and here we are. We would park the bikes along the railings. Oh, the archways are still clear, and the cafe coming up on our left, Riverside Cafe, Cock and Magpie Pub. Yeah, the Riverside Cafe used to be called the Flamingo. It wasn't really paved like it is here today. Seating arrangement. I don't want to run over his lights. Well, I'm going to turn around and go back and just see what it's like in the opposite direction. No, I can't do that anymore. It says no entry. There's that's something I didn't notice. Well, we shall have to go round. Car park coming up on the left, which was a one-way system anyway. Yes, still the same. And we always used to take the shortcut through here. Be looking to the right, and we could keep it moving absolutely flat out, all of about 35-40 mile an hour. Around the corner and across the top of the church this time. That's big enough for me to get through. Acting like a little kid at 16 again. In actual fact, you can reverse those figures to give my exact age now. Okay, we'd go round this corner. One or two have hit that wall, I can assure you. A little bit more cautious at this age. Be absolutely flat up there. This is where we used to get to 100 mile an hour, absolutely flat. Hit the brakes as hard as you possibly could for the first part of the bend. And they'd already sat outside the pub waving at us as we went past, and a few didn't make it around the corner, of course. Still feels about the same. The road surface, a little bit bumpier than what it was. Exactly the same as we used to take it before. Once you could see over the brow, take it wide. Coming in tight, keep it in tight, then we go out wide for the next left hand bend. Wide here. Take But straight, hoping nothing was coming the other way. Absolutely flat. Before the corner, and I'm going to slow it down anyway. There's a lot of debris when we came the other direction. Now we're not going to go left this time, we're going to go straight ahead to the main road. Turning left at the main road to take us back down to the cafe at the bridge. Now coming back into Starport itself. And back straight past the Bridge Cafe, and showing you the sights of Starport. Decided to change his mind. I think this machine's got a little bit of potential for tuning up. I do like what was then a big single cylinder machine, a 535cc, quite a large capacity for a single. And I think with a little bit of tuning, take the fuel injection system off and a nice big carburetor, a little bit more port in, we might be able to get a little bit more power out of the old girl. Now we're going to go back to Bewdley. We're going to go a different way. This is when we fancied a change, or after 2 or 3 trips down the switchbacks, the police, the little panda car would turn up, and that in those days used to be the Morris Minor. So we used to take a different route. We used to like to think we were foxing the police. I'm damn sure we didn't. We didn't have any say over anything in those days. We all thought we did. We knew it all, of course. we'll see what road changes there are. Try not to let it catch me out, but I won't be going that fast, of course. Oh, I can go for an overtake here and keep it below the speed limit. Checking as I go past the shops though, make sure no one's going to jump out on us. It's along this road that a mate of mine, Kenny Harris, he had the 250 GT Continental, but he decided to change his engine for it was a 350, I think, Tiger 90 twin cylinder Triumph engine. And Kenny used to live just here on the right hand side somewhere, along with his parents, of course, in those days. Looks like we've now got traffic lights at the end of the road. Notice the way he cut the corner there, banking on the idea that there was no one coming the other way because it's a red light for me, of course. Okay, now this is where we used to be absolutely flat again, used to get to 100 mile an hour by the end of the straight. And let's see what the old girl can do. And I'm not sure what the road's actually doing. There's no solid white line at this stage, but it used to be fairly narrow through here, and a lot of lorries used this road in those days. See where someone's gone up the bank a little, and a little bit of debris spilled out onto the road. And a roundabout. Now this bike has got fantastic brakes, absolutely fantastic brakes. If I wanted to use them to the full, I don't think I would trust the tyres, especially on this greasy surface after the hard frost we had this morning. But we'll see. Now that was a new road there that goes over a bridge by the look of it, which must be crossing the River Severn. Now this road, I'm sure, went a little bit closer to the river to the left here somewhere. With this side road coming up. Yeah, the old road is the footpath on the left now. And back into Bewdley from the opposite direction. Now the school I used to go to from the age of 11 to 15. I left school at the age of 15. And that was the school that I went to as last and got all the qualifications that I got. Absolutely zero. Come out of that school with no qualifications whatsoever. But I think I've done all right in my life. There's hope for everybody, I believe. That's a new school. New zebra crossing. Oh, it's got a hump. The suspension on this bike is a little bit firm, to say the least. It's just what you need for the cafe racer styling, but it's a little bit harsh for me. I think I may be doing something about that. I've now done, what, 511 miles. Used to be an old factory, a feed mill on the left by the name of Styles, that building, but that's all been changed. And on the right, though, the old building is still there. And we're coming up to Bales Corner and the old bridge itself. And then you'll see we're back at the cafe. Of course, I'm hoping everything comes out alright on the camera, because it's a new purchase and I've never used this sort of thing before. Although I'm used to doing a commentary for my work, I've not really been into use of a camera. Now we would turn right and go down to the Flamingo Cafe. This was a very tight turn with their clip-on bars. Used to pinch our thumbs. Pinch your thumbs on the tank as you turn the corner. And of course, at the MOT we used to have to move them out. Causes a little bit of interest that people do look at this bike. It is something a little bit different. So we used to come along here. We used to go to the two pubs there, the Cock and Magpie and and I've forgotten. We'll go the top way today because someone's in the way with the Range Rover. Can have one more blast along the switchbacks. One more irresponsible ride, shall we say? And all done at well below the speed limit of 30. Now, breakdown recovery truck ahead of me. Has he stopped on the corner? Nope. Let's catch up with him. Now, of course, I wouldn't think twice about overtaking him on this bend. As soon as we can see around the corner, I'd be gone on my modern machine, but it's a little bit different with this old girl. This old girl being a nice new old girl, but still got the performance of the older machine. Albeit twice the capacity of its original. So I'm going to draw back, making sure there's no one following.